How come some people are lactose intolerant and then so many people aren't? Hey, this is episode number 113 of Ask Dave Anything. It's my daily YouTube show where I take one question from my followers and clients and I answer it here, hoping to give you some value, clear up some confusion, and to educate, motivate, inspire you to hopefully make a change in your life. So today's question and topic comes from conversations I've had over the past week or so with a few clients and people I've met, particularly Colin and Eamon, where we discussed this in depth, and it's about dairy and lactose intolerance. And what came up was how come some people are lactose intolerant and then other people aren't. And the reality is that everyone is actually lactose intolerant because we can't break down the enzymes that are in the milk, just like we can't do it for our own breast milk. So what happens is when you're born, your mother's breasts fill up. That's why, again, they're so full at birth, and even prior to birth, they're very basic to feed the child. They're full of milk, and it only typically lasts for a certain length of time. So it's only going to be breastfed for 2 years, 3 years. I've heard it recently at a recent event a couple of months ago that it's up to even 5 years. And typically 2-3 is what's generally accepted. The inverted commas, because I suppose it depends, you know, what's true about what society thinks you should think is right and what's actually right. So somewhere between 2 to 5 years is the breastfeeding period. And what happens is you release renin and lactase because there's two enzymes you need to break down human breast milk. And that's the thing, human breast milk, not other mammals' breast milk. And we're the only mammal that consumes the milk of another mammal. So what happens then is the renin and lactase, those enzymes, they stop producing, so you can't break down any more breast milk. That's why we stop breastfeeding. That's why we then move on to solid food. So in terms of lactose intolerant, you know, we can't break down the milk of another mammal, so we're lactose intolerant as a result of that. So our whole lives are, and everyone is. And this is the scary thing with dairy, in that only some people are diagnosed, again, I'm doing inverted commas, with lactose intolerance. And, you know, it's nearly portrayed as a terrible affliction, when the reality is they're lucky that it's been identified that they're lactose intolerant, because as I've said a few times now, everyone actually is. So we can't break it down. So what happens is it's a mucus forming, which means, you know, even our lungs get formed of mucus. You know, all our insides, it has very negative effects. And the scary thing is that you don't realize until you actually stop having dairy for a period of time. If you stop having dairy for a period of time, when you start having it again, you will notice adverse effects. It'll vary person to person, but you'll notice some form of negative effects. If your nose starts running, your breathing becomes a bit impaired, you can feel something in your lungs, you feel a bit in your chest. Like personally, what I found when I experimented on myself for, I think it was 6 weeks, non-dairy, my nose started running with the first bit of dairy I had. And if I was to have some now, I know that's exactly what would happen. So this is why it's scary. I could talk about dairy for a long, long time. I've done many videos about it on my Go Vegan Grow channel, so go check that out. And I speak at events about it a lot as well. But I just want to touch on here, the basic message for you is we cannot break down our own breast milk. We definitely cannot break down the breast milk of other mammals. That's, you know, our own after 2-3 years of age, and our other mammals not at all. We're all lactose intolerant. You need to consume non-dairy milk if you're going to consume milk of any kind, because it's causing such a negative effect. And I've had even clients with asthma, other breathing difficulties, pains, all this type of stuff, and when they've given up dairy, in days sometimes, and definitely weeks, it has all disappeared, even asthma, once they've given up dairy. So that's the kind of effect it has in terms of the mucus forming around your lungs in particular. So do yourself a favor, at least cut down, if not eliminate dairy completely. This is quite easy, there's so many alternatives. So if you have any questions or comments about this, put it below. If you have an opinion, maybe you think it's complete rubbish, but I'd love to get your comments if you think it is rubbish, and let's have a bit of a discussion and conversation here. So put it below, and also it'd be good if you could share this out too with as many people as you can, so we can start getting the truth out to people and stop people being so conditioned and brainwashed by total garbage that's out there in the food industry, supplement industry, and many industries in general. So also, at the moment you can see 2 other episodes of Ask Dave Anything. Check them out, as well as other episodes that I have, and let me know what other questions you'd like me to cover. Shoot me a PM across any social media. Take care. Speak to you on the next one.